Nigeria.
So Kemi
Yeah.
Badenoch is a minority, and she's running with the Conservative Party, which and that means that she has to really show that she is as English as possible, and even then, she's not English enough. Her
Mhm.
personality is aggressive. It's combative. I don't see her as she believes that she stands up for people against bullies. I think she's quite the opposite.
She is a
I
bully.
think that is a bit disingenuous. Nigeria has its problems and its faults, and I understand why she has to be the way she has to be towards Nigerians. And the
Mhm.
Nigerians that do approach her are probably approaching her from the wrong point of view.
No.
She must, however, recognize the fact that Nigeria still is a major partner as and friend to the United Kingdom. So as much as she wants to distance herself, she doesn't want to make herself appear like a pariah. Nobody is in politics forever. You're going to come
Mhm.
out of politics, and whether you're a footballer or a politician, your country of origin will remain your country of origin. Because I keep telling people that keep saying, "Oh, Nigeria's a shithole." I say, right, you can call Nigeria a shithole, but it's my shithole. You're in
Mhm.
somebody else's country, feeling all big and proper, but it's
Yeah.
not your country.
And, and and
They can
I
tell
want
you
to add
monkey
one thing
go home,
though.
but
I
I'm
want to add
already
one
the
thing.
monkey in my house. You can't tell me where am I going, and you can't do that to me.
Nigeria is a shithole. Nigeria is a
No,
shithole country.
but he said it's our
Let's
shithole.
start accepting
So
that.
what Kunle
Yeah,
is saying is
it's
Yeah,
that
I
our
understand it's our
shithole.
shithole, but it's still a
It's
shithole.
not somebody else's shithole. It's mine. It belongs
okay,
to
but
me.
Kunle,
Yeah, so whatever you want to call
according
it,
to
it's
that reasoning
mine.
though, Kunle, according to that reasoning, I'll say this: I'm not from Israel. Israel is a shit country. It's a shit country. I have the right to say it, even though I'm not from there. So I think all of this is more like it's more attitude. Like people get mad when another person calls out their country. But I think when they say Nigeria is a shithole, there's a sort of racist. It's not like Nigeria is doing anything bad to them, but Israel is doing bad
Nigerian
things.
people are wonderful, but our government is awful.
Yeah,
I think Nigerian people are fantastic, but
yeah.
our government is
No, but I
appalling,
think when they say
which
Nigeria
is
is a shithole,
different from Israel,
they
which
mean
has
the
Exactly.
got
I
their own
economy.
think, yeah,
government and
But I
has
think
but
that
has raised
overall,
their people
okay. So
overall,
Kunle,
has
for example,
educated
from
people
what
to
Mr.
behave in
Kunle
an
Kunle,
said,
appalling way.
can I add one point? So, for example, Haiti is a really poor country, but I will never call it, even though it may be so, you will never hear from my mouth saying Haiti is a shithole, even though it probably is. So the idea is that we don't want to talk, we don't, we can find better words than saying that. We can say it's a very poor country with problems. That's more polite. That's the way I look at it. What were you going to say, Saeed? Go ahead. Yeah.
yeah, but we don't have to be polite all the time. When we see
Yeah,
facts,
but for
let's say
Trump,
facts, and
Trump called
let
Nigeria.
us accept it. It's
Okay,
a
I'm a
fact,
Trump
it's a
fan, but he
fact.
called Nigeria a
Nigeria is a
shithole.
shithole because
Yeah, but
just because
yeah,
just because the white man said Nigeria is a shithole, that doesn't take it away
okay,
that
but
it's
here's the
a
question:
shithole.
you have to ask when he's saying it, what is his motive? Is it for the country to get better, or just to insult the country anyhow? And will he say
To
the same
get
thing about a
better.
white country or about a white country?
Economic wise is a shithole.
Yeah,
Governance
but
wise is a
he
shithole.
doesn't say that about Ukraine. He just says Ukraine has problems. So why is he using insulting words when he talks about black countries, but not when it talks about white countries who are
Because
worse?
whenever you see on
Why
TV, you see mud
why
huts and
must
you
it be
see
about racism?
jungle. You don't see
No, it's about race.
civilized
I
society.
hate to say this. I'm not saying Trump is racist, but no, he is. Most white people are, whether you're Trump or Democrat or Republican. White people talk down. They say Nigerians are corrupt, 419. But anyway, I'm not finished. I'm not finished.
It's
I'm
because we
not
don't have
finished.
a
The number
bargaining
one,
power.
I follow you. What's the number
Yeah.
one country in the world for 419? It's Romania and
Okay.
Russians too. I don't hear people saying Russians are crooks and Romanians. It's always Nigeria. When we go to South Africa,
But
Nigerians sell
okay,
drugs.
if you want
They
to
don't
use
talk
that
about the
logic,
fact that they don't talk about the fact that
what is the population of Romania? Check the population of Romania and check the population of Nigeria.
yeah, but here's the thing.
But
That's why it's
with the
even
way
more
we are
disgraceful.
going, we will
That's why it's
overtake
even
them.
disgraceful that Romania outdoes Nigeria when it comes to the amount
Yes.
of 419. A smaller country is even beating a bigger country. So that means Romania's corruption is far worse than Nigeria. Anyway, let's move on because
I
we're
quite agree with
digressing.
you though.
Yeah, we're digressing. Well, so last thoughts, Kunle, before we move on to Warif. Yeah.
Yeah, on this very public platform,
Yeah.
I know I have
Yeah,
my
you
own
can't talk too
private
much about that. Yeah.
feelings about Kemi Badenoch, but out of principle, I haven't personally met her.
Yeah.
My family know her from before. I
Yeah.
think I have pictures of her as a child from my mother that my mother sent me because I think her mother and my mother were schoolmates, and
Oh wow.
they
Yeah.
shared it. So And I know that they used to be called the Adego case, I think, before she married an Englishman or a foreigner that made her a Badenoch. So I only judge people based on what they are, especially Nigerians. You have to judge them based on what you see. I don't trust the media. I no longer trust what people say about things, but I have a general idea of the sort of person she is. And there is a school of people that are like her, that are Nigerians, but they've grown to really believe that they are not
And
Nigerian.
usually they're the
You know,
ones that we call amebo.
well, yes, but the unfortunate thing is that in
In
the
school.
circumstances,
Peter,
Footnotes.
they will be made
How
to
did you
know
know
that
how
they
did
are
you know I
not
was talking,
English.
teacher? Go ask Kemi.
Yes, I mean, there's something I liked, I'm very proud of. When I went
Yeah.
to school in England, my first term, I was the only black kid in my class, and I came first in English.
Yeah.
Mm.
But
That's
still
why
yet,
you're now
I came
that's why you
first,
do lawyer now. You're a lawyer, grammar.
but still yet, I still knew in the back of my head that I'm not really, no, I'm not really English. I know where I am, and I'm proud of where I come from.
Yeah.
But I am not proud of my government. I'm not proud of the policies and the way in
Mhm.
which we manage our government. But our people are some of the most amazing and fantastic people on earth. And we have a blessed country, which we are not taking advantage of. And we're a land of potential, which has
Yeah.
never been realized. Will it ever be realized in our lifetime? We don't
I
know.
don't
So
think so.
Kemi Badenoch, on a personal judgment remains to be seen, but on her principles as a politician, I am relatively negative. Not even because she's a Nigerian, because of the general outlook of the Conservative and Labour Party.
Mhm.
Although they don't have APAC, they have their own. They have their own lobbies under which they are subject to. She's
Yeah,
a
and I'll add a point.
pro-Israel.
Israel, let me add a point. England is providing logistical support for Israel to bomb kids in Palestine. England,
Yes,
Australia, they are working together. I'm going to say the only country that's not working with them are the other countries like France and Germany. They're not doing it. But England, those four countries, England, Australia, USA, and Britain, they all speak English and they're part of the English. And she herself, in her mind now, is a pure English person. And that means she's imperial, which means most likely she supports rules that hurt people from the global south, Nigeria, Palestine, everywhere. She's playing a part in undermining where she comes from. But I'm not dissing her for that because she's now an English citizen. That's who she is. She's not Nigerian as far as I'm concerned. What do you think, Kunle?
she's basically the English Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
Her support for an apartheid state is ironclad. Every
Nice one.
time
Nice one.
yeah, yes, and
Kamala
Thatcher,
Harris said that with
Harris.
my pen. Kamala Harris said that with my pen because she was a attorney. I can destroy lives. I have power with the
Can you
stroke of a
imagine?
pen. With the stroke of
So
a
I
pen.
never understand why people are saying, why would you want Black Americans to vote for a woman who says my support for an apartheid state is
I would be
ironclad?
ashamed of any
Doesn't
black person who's president of America because if they're especially part of the system that's hurting black people. So in other words, it's like now you're the head of the anti-black country and you're anti-black also. I'm not proud of that. Now it'd be different if she came into office and changed the politics and said, "Oh, I'm black, so things have to change." But what they do is they come into the power and they actually do the work that white people do, the same work of undermining black people and poor people all over the world. Yeah. Let's get
Yes.
to Warif. What are your
And
thoughts,
you can
Warif?
be right wing and not support an apartheid state. I mean,
Oh
look
yeah,
at
yeah.
Candace Owens, that I always had misgivings for. And
Oh
look
yeah, I
now,
like
she's
Candace
still
Owens. And also
Republican,
she's
she's
very
still
cute.
right wing.
She's very cute also.
Yeah, but she's married and she has kids. But she's
All
still
right.
Republican, she's still right wing, but she's still
No, she has morals. She
is
has
being
morals.
honest
Yeah.
about what's going on in Israel, because at
Yeah.
some point you have to say, I'm sorry, I can't support someone that
No,
kills
they're
children.
killing children. They're
Because
bombing children. That has to stop.
so,
So let's move
so,
on
so, so
to the
she
next
has
one.
a way out and she hasn't taken it. And for that, I put her on the bit. You could still be right wing and still be honest with yourself.
Yeah.
And there's a disingenuity about
Yeah,
her
and I want to add that I
that
don't
I
appreciate
don't.
the fact that she's well. It's not her being Nigerian, but the British people are saying we need to stop immigrants from coming. I will repeat this, and I'm going to end this. The immigration problem, like you said, is due to the behavior of the government, in which it destabilizes other countries and also puts tough economic practices on them. So they're forced to flee and come to where you are. But Britain was built off of the resources of Nigeria, India, and the world. And they held these countries down. Then they topple our governments and corrupt our governments. Then when we flee to them, they say, stop, you can't come to our country. But my thing is that your country exists only because of Nigerian oil. What do you think,
The
Wari?
solution to stopping immigration to the West is making the global South countries better for
Economically
living,
stable.
so that people don't have to run away. That's
And
the
that means,
solution.
and that
That's
would mean
the
that
only
Britain's
solution.
economy will have to shrink because they won't have Nigerian resources anymore. Thank you. Let's get to Warif. Yeah.
Okay, well, for whatever thing that is happening right now, when you don't keep your house in order, you see people begin to talk anyhow about you. So for her, our government, or maybe they've seen that, okay, she's a Nigerian by origin or whatever, and now they want to associate with her. And
I wouldn't
everybody
want
knows that.
this government to associate with that, because this government is mischievous.
Yes, that's what I wanted to say. Because they know that right now nothing is happening in Nigeria. Everything is just like the government. They are the all in all. They just wake up one morning and do whatever. And by the time you begin to associate with this government, they see you that you are maybe you might be like against some kind of what would I call now, some kind of rules.
This is a dysfunctional government.
Yes, they don't have anything to offer. So they should just allow her to be. Not that when somebody is doing well, you want to associate it with the person, but put your own house, your own country in order. Because if Nigeria is doing well,
exactly my point.
If Nigeria is doing well, you will not be seeing people, if you like, naturalize, become anything in UK, in America. Nobody, all this immigration, migrant stuff will not come in.
Okay, but at the same time, we shouldn't. But at the same time, we are prophets. And whenever we see a Nigerian celebrating because she won, we have to say, "Shut up! She's not Nigerian."
But there's another problem. Someone like Kemi Badenoch would never become significant in Nigerian politics, which even more shows the dysfunctionality. That shows that we cannot even get our best to be our leaders.
So everything boils down to
the African I agree leaders. With that. Don't associate with knaves and charlatans.
Yeah.
I think why is the issue right now? I think why is the issue right now is because this Abdike Dabiri, one of our ambassadors, said something about
my auntie. She's a very nice lady.
At this point,
her sister is married to my uncle. They're in and out of my house. They're the ones that bought me the bottle of my sister's one that bought me the bottle of
for the peace of your family. Kule, for the peace of your family, I want you to sign off now. You'll come back after.
Every family are very close to my heart. Nice.
I'm just kidding. All right, let's go to Afolabi. What are your thoughts, Afolabi? Because we have to move on to the Trump show in a minute.
I tend to believe that people misconstrued her statement. I don't know if she hates Nigeria. I don't know. I can't speak for her.
No, I think she's distancing herself. I wouldn't say she hates it.
But I think from the point of view in which we hate Nigeria, not like she hates Nigerian people. I think she hates the system.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm trying to say. Frustrated. I don't think that she's. I thought of her as a coconut bounty, but I said a lot of horrible things about her before. But I think about it that maybe I have to retract that. Maybe I'm a bit wrong there.
If you look
because I haven't met her to really know what she really thinks.
All right. So what are we going to say?
If you look at the values, the ideology, and the principles that the Conservative Party stands for, that they're diametrically opposed to what our politicians do. So I think she's distancing herself from those things and not necessarily Nigeria as a country. Because for her to say that Nigeria is corrupt, our leaders are corrupt, those are statements of fact.
But she talks very bad. And here's the thing, here's the irony. Here's the irony. Britain is more corrupt than Nigeria. Like, look at the British government. They are destroying their country. In Britain now, you can't get it. They have free healthcare.
You have some level of corruption.
Hold on, can I speak, guys? Now you have to let people speak. Come on. So in Britain, their health system is falling apart because those Tories and stuff are corrupt, and they're also spending money on war, the Ukraine war, and they also put sanctions on Russia, which affected their economy because the U.S. government told them to do so. So Britain is also America's slave because they're putting in policies that's making the country worse and economically worse. Then they blame it on immigrants. Do you see what I'm saying?
I understand that, Mustafa, but what I'm saying is that if she was in Nigeria, there's no how she would have risen to that level as a politician. Because of the kind of value she stands for. That's just the way I see.
No, but here's my question. So what value does she stand for? Tell me. What is the value she stands for that wouldn't help her win in Nigeria? What is the value? I would say she wouldn't win in Nigeria because she's a female. But what is the value she has that's different in Britain that's not in Nigeria? for the Conservative Party? What's the value?
No, number one is rule of law. Something as basic as
rule of law. No, I'm changing the subject. Britain is an illegal country. They have rule of law because they have the power to do it. They're imperial tyrants. They're thieves. They are thieves. The British government are thieves. I'm not finished. The British government are thieves. And this is the problem with Nigeria. I'm not finished. No. I'm not finished. Britain is a thievish country that stole Nigerian resources, and we call Nigeria. This is the problem. We don't respect ourselves.
That's another topic entirely.
No, we have to say that now. This is why we're doing this show, so that Nigerians can realize. Stop looking at what she's doing in that rubbish country and focus on our own country. F Britain. They can go to hell. What do you have to say? I'm not joking. F them. Look what they did to Nigeria. Look what they caused with the civil war in Nigeria. Look what they do to the world. They can go to hell. Let her be the president of that country because we don't want anyone who stands for Britain. Britain is the most evil country that's come around in the past 400 years. What do you have to say, Saeed?
Okay. Now that you're saying what you're saying now, is our present government, are they feeling what you're saying now? Are they in line with your thoughts?
I'm not thinking about the government because anywhere you go in the world, anywhere you go in the world, government is corrupt. Like Putin. Putin makes money. Putin's company is making billions off of the Ukraine war. He's also corrupt.
Yeah.
So and also the British, they're not doing well by their citizens. That's why they're saying get rid of immigrants. The British politicians are putting British people in danger and putting them in poverty. Just like Nigeria. It's just that it's going to take longer. It's going to take longer for Nigeria.
I think everybody.
And also, in 40 years, Nigeria will be stronger than Britain economically if they stay with BRICS. So forget Britain. I don't care.
The British people and the British government.
Oh yeah, I'm talking about the government. Yeah, sorry. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. But I think everyone here on this platform now is grown enough to know that UK. We all know that UK too is a corrupt country. But
we have to say it. Words are very important. We have to stop because look at what Afolabi said. He's making it sound. He said Britain has rule of law, but Nigeria doesn't. No, Britain is a lawless.
They do have the rule of law.
It's a lawless country, but they make fake laws.
With the election we just had, and the election Britain is currently having. Can you say we have a rule of law?
And also, the only reason Britain has more order is because they were a colonial nation that ruined Nigeria. It's not the politicians that ruined Nigeria. It's the British. They came here and they built the country.
I think by now we should have gone past that. I think by now
we can't go past it. We can't go past it because they still choose our presidents and they still provide weapons. They provide money for Boko Haram to undermine Nigeria. Until they stop doing that, we can continue talking. Britain is still a colonial power. They are still practicing colonialization on Nigeria. We can't move past it because we are still their slaves. We are still their slaves.
Another thing about going back to Kemi Badenoch that is very disingenuous. And she said that she doesn't believe Africans are entitled to reparations and Black Americans. But if you look at the history of the British government, they just finished paying interest on reparations to former slave owners' descendants in 2015. 2015. They finished paying interest in reparations money to descendants of slave owners.
They still have our bronze masks. They still have our bronze masks, and they want to give it back to us.
And then her policy, our position on Israel. So those two things have nothing to do with Nigeria, but those two things for me are very big negative against.